Hi, everybody. Good evening. Can you hear me okay? It is November 4th, 2025. I'm Nate Eaton. Welcome to Courtroom Insider. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know where you're watching from. We are live tonight. I'm going to tell you a little secret that recently a lot of our episodes for Courtroom Insider have not been live. Like they've been what's called live to tape, where I don't edit them. But this is live. And the reason we're live tonight is because it's election night. One, we're not going to talk politics here, though, but we're all in the newsroom. So right behind me, just down the hall, all of our reporting staff is getting ready for the numbers to come in here in Idaho. We're monitoring local elections, city council, mayor, things like that. And I figured, I'm going to be here at work anyway. I might as well chat with my Courtroom Insider family and go live and take your questions. So tonight, I'm going to kind of rely on you all to post your questions. Peggy's monitoring the questions. She's going to send them to me. We're going to do shout outs. We're going to do questions. Let me know where you're watching from. We're going to do cities just like old times, just like during the Daybell trials. So we're also going to talk about several cases that have been on my radar and that I haven't had a chance to update you all on. So we're going to go through all that here on Courtroom Insider. And thank you for being here. And thank you for watching last night with Brad Bradley. That was such an interesting conversation. Brad Bradley and Tom, Amy Bradley's boyfriend. I know it's created a lot of discussion, but these guys are trying to come forward to say that the narrative, in their opinion, has been hijacked as far as what Amy and what happened to her and what the family was going through and all that. And really, in their eyes, it's a distraction from the fact that they want to find their sister and their daughter, and they want to bring Amy home safely. So it was nice having them here. Tomorrow, Bryan Kohberger is back in court. And this will be an interesting hearing. We're going to have it live tomorrow, November 5th at 10 Mountain Time. We're going to stream it live here on our East Idaho News YouTube channel. So if you're watching here, you can come back in the morning at 10. This hearing is all about restitution. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about the latest in the Vaughan case, the toddler from Fruitland, Idaho, who vanished 4 years ago, just off the face of the earth. And there was some arrests or charges filed and then dropped. Well, just on Friday, on Halloween Day, man was charged with his murder. And guess where the guy is? Maricopa County, Arizona, where there always seems to be this Idaho-Arizona tie. I don't know what it is, but he's there. He's being extradited back here to Idaho on those charges. Sadly, they still have not found little Michael. We'll talk about that case. And then a case that I posted about on my Facebook page that a lot of you have emailed me about. Nicole Boyer, she's the Montana mother who is accused of starving her toddler to death. Her little child who had spina bifida and club feet and had severe disabilities and was found on a pile of laundry. We're going to talk about that case. She was in court. And then, of course, your questions. I got a whole page of them here, but keep sending them in because we'll talk about it all. Let's start with Kohberger. So we talked about this a few weeks ago. Bryan Kohberger was ordered to pay restitution. The prosecution came back saying he should have to pay more. The defense argued that because there were GoFundMes and other donations brought in for the victims' families, that he should no longer have to pay restitution. In fact, I was invited on Court TV to talk about this, about should he have to pay more restitution? Should it be ordered? When in reality, he may not be able to pay any restitution because he's in prison for life, but is it the principle of the matter that he should have to pay? So last time we talked about this, the defense had just filed some motions saying Kohberger shouldn't have to pay, Judge. Don't make him pay. There's GoFundMes. Leave it at that. Well, then the prosecution filed a response, and that's what I want to go through right now here on our screen. I hope you can see that. So this is the response to the defendant's objection to request for restitution. So remember, prosecution files the request, defense objects, now they're responding. The state may seek restitution orders. I'm just going to buzz through this. It's not a very long document regarding financial expenses in the crime victim compensation reimbursement and amount to be determined. At the time of the plea agreement, the state was under the impression certain expenses incurred by victims' families would be covered by the crime victims compensation. After the sentencing hearing, the state was informed that crime victims' compensation will not cover travel and lodging expenses for attendance of court proceedings. On behalf of the victims, the state submits the itemization of expenses that were incurred by the victims' families, including expenses not covered by the crime victim compensation for the court's consideration. The state is affirmatively advocating for payment of funeral expenses as itemized by State Exhibit 2 pursuant to the plea agreement. The defendant argues that the requested restitution should not qualify as, quote, direct economic loss, since the victims' families received third-party donations. Under Idaho Code 195304 and controlling precedent, directly injured victims may receive full restitution despite third-party payments unless those third parties qualify as statutory victims through contractual obligations to pay. Applying the Cheney analysis to this case, charitable donations such as those received through GoFundMe arise from voluntary generosity rather than legal obligations. So they're saying that it shouldn't matter that money was raised through GoFundMe, that their donations came in, that sort of stuff shouldn't matter, that funeral expenses for victims should be paid. And in a way, if you think about this, if someone here in East Idaho were a victim of a horrible crime, and because of publicity or because of other reasons, it got moved to Boise, which is 4 hours away, and you don't have any family out there or friends, so you've got to get a hotel or an Airbnb, but then you've got a job that you've got to work at or take 2 or 3 months off. This is exactly what the victims in this case went through. None of them are from Boise, but if they want to be in court every day to get justice and observe proceedings, who's going to pay for all that? And that's why the GoFundMes were started, to pay for these families. And the prosecution is saying it shouldn't matter. Since charitable donors lack contractual obligations to pay victims, they cannot qualify as statutory victims under Idaho Code 19304. Therefore, the payments do not reduce the defendant's restitution obligation to the directly injured under Idaho 19304. This is also supported by public policy consideration, focusing on making the victims of crime whole for a defendant's criminal conduct rather than accounting for victims' good fortune in receiving community support. Lastly, the defendant argues that restitution should not be awarded based on the defendant's, quote, ability to earn or pay money given his 4 consecutive life sentences plus 10 years. Defendant's objection provides clear authority for courts to order restitution from life sentence defendants. The statute mandates that courts shall order a defendant found guilty of any crime which results in economic loss to the victim to make restitution to the victim unless the court determines restitution would be inappropriate or undesirable. The immediate inability to pay restitution shall not be in and of itself a reason to deny restitution. So they're saying doesn't matter if they can or cannot pay, they should still be ordered to pay it. If a penny is never given to the victims, from Bryan Kohberger, they're saying they should still have to pay it. Let me keep going. The discretion enables courts to determine the specific circumstances of life sentence cases, including the defendant's age, health, realistic earning potential. In this case, there is a history of this defendant receiving financial compensation from family and third parties. By way of, the state is attaching a summary of the financial contributions made to the defendant while he was in custody at the Ada County Jail and the Latah County Jail. In the event the defendant is able to obtain financial compensation from third parties or family, the victims should have ready access to those assets for the satisfaction of their losses. The family sending him money and third parties, people out there, maybe some of you, are sending him money. Additionally, this case has and will continue to attract worldwide attention, which could result in the defendant prospectively receiving monies subject to interception by the state treasurer pursuant to 195301. Restitution orders may be recorded as civil judgments and should be collectible from any monies prospectively deposited in escrow with the state treasurer. Based on the above, the state hereby amends their request for restitution, blah, 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 blah. So, what do you think? Does his side have a point that there's already a GoFundMe, the victims are already getting paid money, or should he still have to pay? All of those attachments were sealed. So We don't know the specifics of how much he's been sent in jail in Ada County or in Latah. We don't know the specifics as far as the travel expenses that the families went through. We don't know all those specifics. Those are sealed. So all of those exhibits are sealed. I'm just looking through motion to seal, state's response to the court order sealing. Yeah, all of these files as recently as today, there's orders sealing those attachments. So this will be resolved or at least discussed tomorrow. Maybe it won't be resolved completely, but it will be discussed as far as should Bryan Kohberger have to pay and what more should he have to pay. You know, I know of people who have sent inmates lots of money, or we'll send them TVs. We'll send them or money for TVs for commissary. I mean, you can, if you have quite a bit of fans, you can put unlimited money on their books, and they get that money. So they're saying there that they should have to pay. He should have to pay. We'll see what the judge says tomorrow. We'll live stream it on eastidahonews.com, our YouTube channel, and then tomorrow night on Courtroom Insider, we will talk about it again with the latest. Okay, the other story, which if was a big break in the case of Michael Vaughan. Now, let me pull up my story here. Michael Vaughan, let's go back to, this is little Michael Vaughan. And let me show you, first of all, a lot of people have said, why aren't you covering this one as closely as some of our other ones? Fruitland is quite a ways from where we are. I'm going to show you the map. We're in Idaho Falls. Fruitland is, I have a friend actually in Fruitland who just moved there about a year ago to start a physical therapy clinic. So if you're in Fruitland and you need help, Fruitland is nearly 5 hours away. This is Idaho Falls right here. Fruitland is all the way over here. So you go through Boise, you go through Nampa, and you go up to Fruitland. So it's a little tough for us, 4 hours and 45 minutes away, to consistently cover a story like this in the way that I personally would want to cover with boots on the ground. And I mean, if it were here in Burley or Twin or somewhere a little closer, we could. So we admittedly are relying on our news partners over in western Idaho to cover this. Now, if it goes to trial, assuming it will, I'll be there. We'll cover it like that. But this is little Michael Vaughan. So he vanished back in 2021, July. And the man accused of killing him was charged last week. And he is already serving time on unrelated charges in Arizona. His name is Stacy Wondra. Here is a video. I don't know if the sound's going to come through, but I can show you what he looks like. It's a really blurry video from Arizona. He's 33. He's charged with first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. And this, again, was back in 21, so we're looking at nearly 4 years. So here he is. Again, there's no sound on this. This is when he showed up to be arraigned, or for his initial court appearance last week. He did not, he waived extradition. So he will be brought back to Idaho in the next 30 days on these charges. And he'll likely, bond was set at $1 million down in Arizona, and I imagine there will be a high bond here when he gets back to Idaho. So Stacy Wondra is his name. Michael disappeared from his Fruitland home in July of 21. Wondra and his wife Sarah lived nearby. She was arrested back in 2022 for failure to report Michael's death. And investigators dug up the yard where they thought Michael might be buried. I mean, I remember this, that everybody was hopeful that he would be there, and they found nothing. They dug up the yard, nothing was found, and her charges were dropped the next year. Well, then police body camera footage came out earlier this year that showed Stacy, the man now charged. I know because it's a female name. It can be confusing. Stacy and Sarah were married. They're no longer married. Stacy's on this body camera talking with investigators. You hear him on the phone as the yard's being excavated. So it's a call that took place. Oh, I'm being told that I'm way too loud. Okay, thank you for whoever just told that. Oh, okay. This is funny, y'all. Peggy messages me, Summer says you're too soft. And then I saw the message that my colleague Nate sent, Winter says you're too loud. So, Autumn, what do you say? Am I just right? Is that like the seasons? Okay, I'm sorry. If I'm too loud, turn down your volume. If I'm too soft, turn it up. I can crank this up a little bit, but I don't want to go too high and blast your ears. So, sorry, summer, winter, autumn. Where's spring? What do you say, spring? Let me go back to the story. So there's this body camera footage, which we linked to on eastidahonews.com. Stacy's talking to investigators, and he says he gave officers directions as to where he believed Michael was buried, and he said his wife was responsible. Quote, Sarah could have done something with the body when I wasn't home, knowing that she knew that I had seen where she was digging. What? So that was in 23. Charges were dropped against Sarah. She's in prison for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. Those charges are not related to Michael Vaughan. She's in prison. Stacy is now the husband is now in Arizona, waiting to come back here. He, when he gets back here, he will go through his initial court appearance here. I am wondering, we don't know if it's grand jury indictment. If it is, we won't have many details. If it's a probable cause, then we'll have more details. And what will happen is the next hearing, after his initial hearing, they'll set a preliminary hearing, most likely. And that's where they will present, it's like a mini trial where the prosecutor will have to present enough evidence to show the judge that there's enough there to advance the case further to district court on the charges and a jury trial. So we'll see where that goes. Michael's mother told KIVI, Brandy Vaughan, quote, our family has mixed emotions. Yes, we are glad charges are coming. We want them to tell us where Michael is, period. We will let the justice system take care of the rest. The Payette County prosecuting attorney, Michael Duke, said in a news release, after a robust investigation by the Fruitland Police Department and countless assisting agencies, we have been unfortunately unable to locate Michael to recover his remains. Our foremost hope has always been to recover Michael, but delays now risk further harm to his loved ones. And we believe we know the individuals involved and are committed to pursuing justice with or without Michael's recovery. It's going to be an interesting case if they do a homicide case without a body. That can be tough with juries, but they must feel that they have enough. And with this many years that have gone by, they clearly do. Or they get him into custody and they see if he talks and shares the whole story, or at least his story, and maybe they're led to Michael if they can. But just a tragic, sad story. So when he gets back here to Idaho, that is when we will see him in court again, and we'll be sure to bring you updates as that happens here. Okay, I want to now talk about Nicole Boyer. This was, let me pull up a picture of her. This is a horrific case. I do want to warn you if we will discuss some pretty awful allegations of child abuse of a child who died, and I just want to, make it known to you that that's what we're going to talk about right now. This is, let me get this picture. This is Nicole Boyer. This is a Montana mother who is now in prison. She appeared in court last, I believe, Thursday or Friday. Let me make this full. This is Nicole Boyer. She's charged with deliberate homicide. And I want to go through the documents with you. I did post these on my Facebook page. Not the documents. I did not post the documents. This is the first time we're going to go through the documents. But this is for affidavit from the Dillon, Montana area, a Beaverhead County attorney. Dillon is actually just about 2 hours from where we are here in Idaho Falls, and we'll cover this one. We'll go up for the court filings on this one, the court proceedings. Count 1, deliberate homicide. The state seeks a warrant. Bail set at $500,000. It's been higher than that, I believe. Let me just go down here to on October 16th, 2025. Nicole Boyer called dispatch at the Beaver Head County Sheriff's Office to report that her son, SB, born in 2022, so 3, had been sick for months and was now deceased. Under Sheriff Haggard responded to 312 Main Street in Lima, Montana, where Boyer and her son were located. Upon his arrival, he met with Boyer outside the residence. Boyer made a statement to the effect of, quote, "Just take me to jail." Let me make these bigger if you're able to see. Hopefully that helps. I know many of you watch on your phone, so it can be hard to see, but if you're watching on a TV, that might help. Law enforcement observed the smell of decomposing human remains upon entry into the residence. Furthermore, the entirety of the home was in poor condition. The floor and surfaces throughout the home were covered in trash and rotten food, as well as animal urine and feces. Can I just say hats off to the law enforcement and the social workers and the Department of Health and Welfare workers and anyone that has to deal with situations like this. Reading it is hard enough. I cannot imagine being in it. In fact, maybe I kind of can, but fortunately, a few months ago, I went into a home like this for an investigation that, fortunately, there were no children, but I left and I had to go home and shower. And Jordan, my photographer, he had to too. We just felt so disgusted. And we went in hazmat gear and boots. Like I wanted to throw away my shoes. So anyway, you go in, I cannot even fathom a child being in these conditions. It is heartbreaking. Under Sheriff Haggard was directed by EMS to an upstairs bedroom to observe the deceased child, who was located on a pile of laundry, bed sheets, trash, and other items on the floor next to a mattress. The child was covered up with a sweatshirt that Boyer later identified belonging to her. The child appeared to be in an advanced state of decomposition. SB suffered from spina bifida, club feet, and hydrocephalus. As a result, SB was significantly disabled. Boyer later indicated the child could only army crawl as a result of his medical conditions. The upstairs bedroom where SB was located was filthy. It was covered in trash, diapers, and other items. Law enforcement noted that an air conditioning unit was running in the bedroom despite the projected high temperature that day in Lima, Montana, as being approximately 44 degrees Fahrenheit. All other occupants of the home, including 3 other minor children and another adult, were removed from the residence. Boyer spoke with Deputy Wheatley while on scene. She indicated that SB fell ill in July with what she described as a cold, and then fell ill again in August. She indicated the child had a fever during this time as well, but that she attributed it to teething. Boyer stated she would check on the child 3 to 4 times a day, delivering food and water at that time. Boyer indicated that she felt as if the child received food and water, the child would be okay. During the course of this conversation, Boyer also stated that she did not remember the whole month of September and made several comments about needing to go to jail. Law enforcement also spoke with Boyer's family members, including her mother, her stepfather, and her biological father. Boyer's mother indicated that she spoke with Boyer on October 16, 2025, for the better part of an hour before Boyer called 911. During the course of that conversation, Boyer made statements to the effect that she was a horrible person, a horrible mother, that she was going to jail for life, and that everybody will hate her. At times, Boyer told her mother that SB was alive but sleeping, and at other times, Boyer said SB was deceased. Boyer's mother shared that the last time she spoke with SB on the phone was in September, and that around that same time, Boyer had made suicidal threats, including sharing a plan to shoot herself and sharing a belief she would be going to jail. Boyer's father advised that the last time he had seen SB was in September. He also indicated that while Boyer used to sleep upstairs in her bedroom with her 2 sons, SB and her older son, she began sleeping downstairs with her older son in September. Boyer's father also indicated that Boyer told him that she had switched SB's sleep schedule in September, such that he would sleep all day and be awake at night. Boyer also spoke with DCI agents in the evening of October 16th. During this interview, Boyer advised of the following. SB could sit up on his own, but could only army crawl around due to his medical conditions. He had the speech development of a 1-year-old, despite almost being 3. Boyer kept SB in the upstairs bedroom exclusively, where SB stayed in a, quote, padded area. She said she would visit him multiple times a day to set his food down so he could eat if he wanted to, and that he was given water in a to-go bottle. She became overwhelmed in August with tending to the 3 other minor children in the home as well as her father, who were all sick. She became overwhelmed once school started in September, as she had to provide all children in the home with medications and food. She gave SB Tylenol over the summer, but then stopped in September because she didn't want to give him too much. She did not take him to the doctor for any of the illnesses he suffered over the summer because she felt like she had everything she needed at home to care for him, including medications. She indicated she would use a nebulizer on SB and that the nebulizer would often help alleviate symptoms. Boyer said SB would sleep during the day and be awake at night. She would check on him during the day, but she slept downstairs at night with her other child. Boyer said at some point in September she got overwhelmed and stopped caring for the child. When asked why, she stated that she, quote, didn't prioritize him. I believe I should have done more, she said, and agreed that her lack of care led to his death. She stated, quote, my lack of not paying attention and prioritizing other things over him led to him dying. Boyer said she didn't know the last time she actually remembers seeing him eating, and that she stopped giving him water sometime in September. She was unclear whether she stopped giving him food and water before or after he was deceased. When asked if he starved to death, she said she didn't know. When asked if he froze to death, she said she didn't think so. Boyer stated she knew he had passed in September, but she had convinced herself that he was still alive. She didn't want to accept SB's death until that morning when she, quote, finally called the police on myself. I am sorry that I had to put you through that. That is so just horrific and just really hard to comprehend. She did appear in court, and I want to show you that video. She pleaded not guilty, and here is a piece that was from about a week ago. Let me hear, I think because of copyright you might not be able to hear it. But this is from NBC Montana. You can see she's here. Oh, looks like that's court video. Let me just exit out there one moment. I know one of the news outlets was in the courtroom, and they had video of her. And I think next time we'll try to go up there for this one. It sounds very that she's really not mentally stable. At least that's how it appears or how it sounds. I'm not one that can make a medical diagnosis or a mental health diagnosis, but based on some of the statements in the affidavit that I just read, you can see that this person clearly had some comprehension issues, perhaps, or maybe some drug issues. I'm not sure. Here is the video. Let me just make it large here. From the Beaverhead County Courthouse. This was, I believe, Thursday or Friday. And here is the mother with her attorneys. She pleaded not guilty there. And she remains in jail. She could take a plea agreement or something of the sort, or she could take it all the way to trial. Again, this is Nicole Boyer. If you just joined us, she's charged with deliberate homicide in Montana, in a county that's about 2 hours away from Bonneville County. And her young son, who has serious medical health issues, was found dead in her home. So that's another one that we will continue to follow. You can catch the latest on that story on eastidahonews.com. We have it on there. All right. Guess what? Our polls close in 29 minutes. So I have to be done here in the next 29 minutes. But I want to be sure we get to your questions. And I know you have a lot. Peggy's sending them to me. Peggy, we got some more. We got some shout outs too. We got some cities. But I got to talk about newspapers.com because they are our incredible sponsor. And for those of you that haven't checked out newspapers.com, you should. And then I'm going to get to your questions. Here it is. They're doing a special. 6 months, get 30% off. Good gift. It ends November 23rd. And here is You can search anything. So I don't know. What's the topic I can search? Maybe we search Elizabeth Smart. And here are the newspapers that come up. This was the Daily Journal, March 14th, 2003. A joyful reunion, the day Elizabeth Smart was found the day after. And if there's a topic you really want to go down, manipulation probably stopped teens' escape. Suspected kidnapper spoke like he was a prophet from God. There's all sorts of stuff like this. Newspapers.com is one of my favorite sites. As a reporter, I cannot even tell you how many times I use this website. It is a big, big help. And here we have, it looks like a perspective. Oh, I don't know why her photo's not there. A life still to live. Maybe that was an artistic thing they did. Anyway, newspapers.com, they sponsor Courtroom Insider. We appreciate them. Go check them out. Let me know what you think. And keep sending me your stories. If you have found something really cool on newspapers.com about your family history or about a court case or something like that, I'd love to hear, because you guys send me some really, really cool questions. Okay, here we go. Peggy is back and sending me shout outs. Let's get to those, and then let's get to your questions. Janet Traylor wants a shout out to the best sister ever. Kathy Hollister from Boise. Kathy, hi, in Boise. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Denise Miller, Leslie Lynn, Margaret Bowers, Robert Chinnery, Johnny. I only have a Johnny, so if your name's Johnny, it's for you. Susan Johnson, Alex Howard, Mary Jo Jarrow, Bonnie Wishmeyer, and Elizabeth Grace. Thank you so much for being here. The cities, we have Hungry Horse, Montana. I have no idea where Hungry Horse is, but that would be a sweet city to say I'm from Hungry Horse. North Dakota, Alberta, Canada, Minnesota, the UK, Mount St. Helen, Chester, California, Missouri, Mountain Home, Idaho, Bullhead City, Arizona, and Texas. So good to have you all here. I need a drink. 1 second. Okay, now let me go to your questions. Peggy has sent me a bunch here, but I have a bunch that I've collected over the past few months and weeks. Where does Lori Vallow stand on her appeals? Could she be back in court? Her appeal in Idaho, in fact, just this week, I think her appellate attorney filed a request, or the state filed a request for another extension. Where it stands in Idaho is her side filed the reasons why they think the case should be thrown out and heard again. If it's heard again, why it should be tossed. Now the state has to respond. Then her side will respond, and they'll kind of go back and forth. And maybe in about a year or two, it'll be resolved. She won't show up in court, though. This will be an attorney thing, and it will be something that we'll have to wait and see. But no, she won't be back in court anytime soon, unless there is a hearing scheduled for Brandon Boudreau's restitution in Arizona. And that's the next question. Does Brandon Boudreau not get any restitution? That just seems so wrong. He could file for restitution based on what Trina Case says. He's still compiling the numbers. So yeah, he technically could get restitution and have to submit receipts and talk about the travel and everything that he was involved in, and he could, but that has not been determined yet. Is it true Lori can do the hair of other inmates? Where the hell does she get her hair dye and makeup? Commissary. It's on there. It's on the list. If you haven't watched the video I did a few weeks ago about what's on the commissary list, go watch it. You can get an air fryer. I mean, you can get, so she can get hair dye. She can get the makeup products she can use. She has told me that she's very creative with M&Ms or Jolly Ranchers candy. You can add some color, and she's good at doing her hair. So she takes a wet towel, or a fabric or something, an undershirt, and that's how she'll curl her hair. She'll roll it up tight and then wrap it around her hair and do that. Could Bryan Kohberger release a book about his case, and who would publish it? Well, that's a good question. I guess he technically could. You might have a problem finding a publisher who would do it. Now, he could do it through Amazon. He could do it Chad Daybell style, who's releasing letters one at a time through his family. He's not making any money on that. I don't know. There might be a way to go around it and do it, and that's why I think that the restitution issue is going to be a big issue tomorrow, and that might be brought up. about what if he does make money off of these third-party projects? Shouldn't the victims get that money? Joe J. Simpson once, they had a book, I think, called If I Did It. It's something like that. They're like, if I did it. And then they pulled the book just because it was in poor taste. So we'll see. All right, I have several questions about the lady we just talked about in Montana, Nicole Boyer. If the disabled adult in the home had any inkling of what was going on, they should be charged, disabled or not. That baby would have been crying. Why would the baby be kept in a padded room away from all the other family members? This doesn't add up and reeks of suspicion. Valid point. Where was the state-assigned social worker? In Idaho, a child with spina bifida is automatically enrolled in the infant and toddler program and assigned a caseworker to check on them until the age of 3. They also are not allowed to be discharged from the hospital until they are enrolled in home health. Is there more the state could have done? Not trying to throw stones, just want to know that we as a society, can learn from this horrific tragedy on how we can do better in the future. Another good point. I don't know the legalities in Montana. I don't know who was visiting the home, if health and welfare was coming, if they had a social worker. That's a great point. And no neighbors heard the baby crying. I don't know. It's tragic all around. Thanks for all your work, Nate. You're welcome. Do you know what you will be talking about at CrimeCon in May? Is it really worth going? What about the cruise? I'm a little nervous. Okay, yes, I'll be at CrimeCon in May, and I don't know what I'll be talking about yet, and I will be going on the cruise, and it is a lot of fun, and if you want to go, prices go up in 2 weeks, and you can use the promo code EATON, EATON, for CrimeCon and the cruise. And you don't have to pay it all now. You can put a little down, deposit, and then pay as you go. But already the cruise, they've sold a crazy amount of tickets, and they haven't even announced the whole lineup. It's me and Chris Hansen, and there's going to be some amazing speakers announced still to come. And the cruise is next November. So a year from now, we'll be getting ready for the cruise. It's on the Celebrity Cruise Lines. It includes a drink package, sodas, or if you drink alcohol, Wi-Fi, and so much fun, like Family Feud. So yes, I think it's a blast. If you like cruises, it's much more intimate than CrimeCon, much more intimate and just chill, just so much fun. As for CrimeCon, is it really worth going? If you like true crime and you can go, it's in Vegas in May. And I think you should try it if you want. And there's the nice thing about Vegas, there's so many hotels. You don't have to stay at the host hotel. That does make it worth it because you're there. But you can stay at the one next door or one down the street. And there's so many things to do. And it's a lot of fun. And that code EATON does also apply for CrimeCon. 10% off a standard badge at CrimeCon and the cruise. So I hope that helps. What are your thoughts about Amy Bradley and her brother Brad? It's such a weird case. I don't know what you mean about what are my thoughts. I hope that they find her. If you're asking if I think she's alive or dead, I don't know. I mean, crazy things have happened. We just talked about Elizabeth Smart. She was found after 9 months. And I know it's been 30 years since Amy Bradley disappeared, but it's just so weird. If you haven't seen the docuseries, watch it. I know that Brad, as we talked about yesterday, and the family has several issues with it. But it does kind of set the foundation about other people that were on the boat, Yellow and these other people that might be a little suspicious. So I don't know. What happened to Peggy? Is she okay? Peggy, are you okay? Peggy's good. Peggy's still around. She's, still gathering comments, moderating comments, coming with us on some Secret Santa surprises. So she's doing okay, and she's here. As I said, a lot of our recent episodes I've pre-recorded earlier in the day so I can be home with my family at night or if I have other things going on. So we haven't done a live thing like this, but she's still involved. So that's good. I just watched your Secret Santa videos and I'm in Ukraine. They are amazing. How did this start? I know this isn't a crime story, but man, they are something. What can you tell me? So we have an anonymous Secret Santa who has $1 million, and we ask our community in East Idaho to send in nominations for people in need or people who have special situations. Like yesterday, we posted a video about an elderly woman in her 80s that couldn't afford to give her son a funeral. He died in his sleep unexpectedly, and she would have had to cremate him, and she didn't want to cremate him. She had nothing against cremation. She just didn't want to cremate him. Secret Santa said, I'm going to pay for the funeral. And so we showed up and told her. And that's what we're going to do every day from now until Christmas. And several days we'll have more than one surprise. That's how it's all started. And it's amazing. It's the best time of year for us. We're very busy when we do this. But and I'll try to fit in as many Courtroom Insiders as I can. But that's how Secret Santa came to be. And thank you for watching. If you haven't watched them, it does give you a boost of feel good. And guess what? We have shirts. You know what? Should I announce this? I wasn't going to announce this to you guys, but because you're here and it's election night, we have some really fun Courtroom Insider shirts for you that I haven't announced that I'm going to show you. So these are right now. These are on our store. If you go to eastidahonews.com/shop, you can order these today. We ship anywhere in the world except I think Canada's under strike. So look at these. We have Believe in the Secret of Giving. Nice hoodie for Christmas. Warm, snuggly, Christmassy. Love these. We've got Shh, It's a Secret Santa with our little East Idaho News logo up there. Love this t-shirt, and I believe we have this in a sweatshirt. We have all these in sweatshirt, t-shirt, and hoodie. But look at this one. I know those of you watching love this one. Staying home, solving crimes again. Isn't that a cool one? Erica's like, I need one of these. So that is for sale now. We just put them out there now. They make great Christmas gifts. And I think I have a promo code, but stand by. Let me get that. We have Staying Home, Solving Crimes. Shh, It's a Secret. This one I love. Don't worry. I'm just here for the evidence. EastIdahoNews.com, case 208 EIN. This is a sweatshirt, t-shirt, hoodie. Maybe we should do some giveaways for these. You can order them now. As I said, they're unisex sweatshirt. You order them now, sweatshirt or sweatshirt. Order them now. They'll be to your house by Christmas. Do we have any others? We have them in the t-shirt. Yeah, don't worry. I'm here for the evidence. I wasn't going to announce these tonight, but my guy, our guy just told me he has them there. And here's what you should do. Through the 8th, what's today, the 4th? Through the 8th, you can get 15% off if you use this code. Oh, darn it. Okay, here we go. It is, sorry, here we go. Discount code November 8th. He told me we were going to do a discount code for people, for you all, and I don't know where it's at. My apologies so much for doing this. Here's the other thing. Order them through our store. You can get them right away. We will have a very, very limited number of each of these shirts coming to East Idaho News that you can come here and buy on site, or we can ship it to you with like a little note. But when I say limited number, I mean like five at a time. Okay, the discount code is 15% off discount code that you can share. One use per customer, and it's available till the end of November 8th. The code is SECRET. 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 Okay? There you go. Secret. Go to eastidahonews.com/shop on any of those items. Secret, you'll get 15% off, but it's only valid through Friday. And you can buy Secret Santa shirt or the crime shirts or whatever. Okay, next question. Why so many posts about child abuse, Nate? I don't want to see this awful stuff. It makes me so sad. I know, I'm sorry, but I also need to report the news. And unfortunately, that's the news. And I promise I try to space it out. I have had a few complaints that my Facebook page is only full of child abusers. And then I look at my page and I've got Secret Santa, Feel Good Friday, all sorts of other stories. Yet the way the algorithm works is for some reason these child abuse stories keep popping up on your feed. I don't know why, But if you look at my page, I try to, at the end of the day, be able to look and say 50% of the stuff was good, 50% was bad, bad, quote unquote, and not good. So sorry, but I do have to report it. Sorry to hear about your wife and her vascular malformation. I have one in my brain. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't understand how the mattress helps with the blood clot. Please explain. Well, we posted about this the other day. My wife, about a week before we got married, just one second, I'm getting a call right now. I am live doing a video right now. Sorry. My wife had what we thought was a tumor in her back, and this was about 3 weeks before our wedding. She went in to have it removed. The doctor opened her up, cut her up open, and it was a vascular malformation, basically a bunch of blood vessels and arteries combined into this big mass, and they were like kind of intertwined in some of her organs. So possibly they can grow. So the doctor was like, I'm not cutting this out or she'll bleed to death. Sewed her back up. We were sent to a specialist in North Carolina. We lived in Virginia. The specialist injected it with alcohol to try to shrink it. And while the specialist was doing this, he accidentally punctured her lung. She came out of the surgery like, I can't breathe. And they said, no, it's just because we wrapped you so tight. But she's like, something's wrong. We go home. A few days later, we're in the ER. They're like, you have a punctured lung. She had to be admitted to the hospital. They put in a vacuum to help. Anyway. After that, my wife's like, I don't want to get it dealt with again. PTSD from the punctured lung. And it's not deadly. At this moment, it's not. So this was like 10 years ago. Well, because it's on her back, you can kind of see it protruding, especially in the cold. And so it's very uncomfortable for her to sleep. And we've been through 8 or 9 mattresses. And I can't believe I'm telling you. We finally ended up, Twinkle Beds, Utah-based company, made in the USA, small family business. I had posted on Facebook that we had another horrible mattress that we had to send back because Erica just couldn't sleep on it. And I get particular, too, about like sleeping on my back. Twinkle Beds reached out, and they're like, Nate, we want to have you try one of our mattresses. So after the Lori's trial in Arizona, we went into the storeroom. I tried it, and it was great. We got one, and it was amazing. And Erica can finally sleep because of this. And does she still have pain? Yes. It has not solved her problems, and I'm not saying it does, but it's a comfortable bed. I don't wake up with a sore back, and we have it moves up and down, the adjustable base. So it's great. It's a comfortable bed. In fact, we got all our kids one, and that's what I meant by that. So that the mattress doesn't necessarily help with the blood clot. It helps with my wife and her sleeping and me sleeping. And Twinkle Beds, they're doing their Black Friday sale. You can go to their website and try it out. And every purchase, I have a code for that too, Nate, Nite-Nate, Nite-Nate, Nate. There's more on my Facebook. You get 10% off plus 30% off, plus every purchase you get a Minky blanket, those really comfortable high-end blankets that are incredibly comfortable, and you'll get it based on the size of the bed you purchase. Okay. Those are last one that I have. Nate, do you ever think Judge Boyce, Judge Boreski, Jim Archibald, John Thomas, and other people involved in the Daybell case will speak? I'm sure they have PTSD. Wouldn't that be amazing if I could get Judge Boyce, Boreski, Jim Archibald, John Thomas, and the prosecutors in the same room and we could just all talk? I don't think that'll happen, but it would be amazing. Okay, Peggy has some questions for me from you, and then I have like 6 minutes before I gotta go. Thank you all for watching, by the way. What's the one story that stuck with me the most? Oh my gosh. Well, Daybell. But other than Daybell, Dior Coons, Dylan Rounds, the Kaneko story from my early days as a reporter. There's a bunch of stories. And it's funny. I'll be driving down the street and I'll remember a story I did like 9 years ago on one corner. And I'll be like, oh, that was such a good story when I did that, or things like that. Have I been following the Dan Markle case? And do I think that Wendy will be indicted? I know nothing about that case. but I should. Robin says, I'd like for you to do a series on domestic violence. It's such a critical issue, and you now have a major platform. You could interview people from the National Domestic Violence Hotline as well as other experts. Will you consider? Absolutely, Robin. In fact, I had a victim of domestic violence reach out to me and say she is near the point where she wants to share her story. And I said, when she's ready, she can come here. Absolutely. That is something that I will do. Discount code not working. Peggy is saying the discount code is not working. Is that on the shirts, Peggy? Is that what you mean? Oh, shoot. I'm sorry if it's not. Let me message our guy right now, but he's neck deep in elections, so I don't know if he's going to be able to help. And if I spoke too soon, I apologize. So shoot. If not, tomorrow night I will tell you what the real code is. Okay, thank you, Peggy. And I apologize to you all. We'll try to get it working as quickly as we can. Today's election day. Nate, would you ever run for office? Are you kidding me? No. My sister-in-law asked me that today. She's been visiting. We went to lunch with my wife and Emmy, and no, I would not. You did a story acting as undercover with some officers in your area. What was the biggest takeaway from that? That there is a lot of nasty stuff happening online from a lot of people that you might not suspect. And it's all over. And that the men and women that do this type of work are incredible, because I could never do it. Nate, why have we never seen the police cam video of Lori Daybell's actual arrest on February 20th, 2020? I cannot believe people in the media haven't tried to get it. We have, and they haven't given it to us. And I don't know if they have it. There was also, from what I was told, audio of her being transferred from Hawaii back to Idaho when they flew her back. And I've requested that audio, and I've been told it no longer exists. So it could have been deleted. I don't know. But if there was video of the arrest, which I've made to Kauai police, they don't have it. How do you choose which cases you look into for Courtroom Insider? Good question. It's a lot of you have emailed me with suggestions. It's a lot of what's happening in the news. It's a lot of what I find interesting or something that I could talk about or get an expert on to talk about. It's just a variety of things. But if you have suggestions, I'd love to hear them because I'm always looking. Nate, have you ever been to Hawaii other than chasing the Daybells? Yes. I went to Hawaii a few years ago with Erica to the island of Kauai back in 2018. And that actually helped having been there, because I kind of knew what it was like going with Erica, or going to find Lori. And then I went back to Honolulu after the first trial. A friend of ours has a home over there and invited my family to go stay. And it was so nice of them, and it was beautiful. And we were able to just escape. And Erica and I are actually going to go in January. And I'm excited. Eldon, Nate, in 10 years, do you think the majority of folks would choose option A or B for Lori Daybell? A, rots away in prison, no more attention. B, complete remorse, tells the full truth. Then in 10 years, you could come and tell the story, whatever it is. I think I want to know the full truth. If you could guarantee me that I could sit down with her today and chat, and they would tell me the full truth and it was honest, absolutely, I would want to hear it. And, yeah. But if they're going to tell one lie, no, they can stay in prison. I'm not saying they should be let out, by the way. I'm not saying they should be let out by telling the truth. I'm just saying I'd love to hear the full story. What do you all think? Would you want to hear the full story, or are you done with it? Again, they'd have to be honest. I'm sorry, many of you were saying the discount code doesn't work. I spoke too soon, and maybe it's not ready. Try it tomorrow. If you're watching on Tuesday, try it Wednesday or Thursday. I promise you we will get you a discount code, and you can get it for a limited time. And I love to see the photos that you send me when you get our shirts. Okay, let me see if this still works. Here is where, hey, you can follow me. Facebook, Twitter, X, Insta, and YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Would love to have you subscribe. Look, we have a little thing that says subscribe. Ding. And we'll be back tomorrow night Courtroom Insider will break down the Kohberger hearing. We'll carry it live tomorrow morning on our YouTube channel if you want to watch. Our polls close in 3 minutes, so I got to get going on election night. Thank you for watching and appreciate all of your support, and we will see you next time.